All right, we are into May here with our apprentice calls, which this is bringing us to actually to the end of our year. I cannot believe that we've been doing the apprentice for an entire year. Pretty pretty cool stuff. I know several people have gotten some great benefit out of it, but we're still looking for our gold bar winner. And actually, I was calculating it up, and I think Gwen and Ruston might actually take the cake. I don't know that they even know it yet. And it wasn't necessarily through an online funnel, but I may wind up giving them a prize anyway. So, but they've done really good bringing on new clients, new customers, and they've stuck with it and really kind of rode out the storm. So great on them. That's good stuff. Um, so I'm not really sure. You know, the last year I had planned on doing a couple more ACT events, and I've spent the time working with a lot of people, helping a lot of people, and not necessarily myself getting my own stuff up and running, which is kind of problematic. Now with Kartra, with Kartra, it's actually giving me a lot of the tools that I really was missing to do that. So I think before long I'm gonna have the actual marketing up to sell ACT. I've worked on a couple of big ideas that I think are really strong. Uh, the whole thing with Elvis, tying the Elvis scenario in, the Elvis shift. I think that's a great big idea because it would grab people from an interesting standpoint, a curiosity standpoint, and get them emotionally attached to what they want, which is, we all want raving fans. We all want more customers than we can count. Um, and that's what Elvis did. That was what his shift did. He did one fundamental shift, which had to do with his marketing message, and because of that shift, he literally went from a failure to the king of rock and roll. And that's going to be my marketing campaign. That's a big idea that is going to steer the entire marketing campaign. I had also got the thought of tying in Benjamin Franklin and saying, somehow tying Elvis and Benjamin Franklin in to two powerful key components that can change your business and change your life forever. So I'm not sure if I'm going to go that direction or not. I definitely will use the Benjamin Franklin thing in any campaign that I do because it's so strong. The idea of saying the only thing that stands between you and a sale is an objection, and having the Franklin belief builder to destroy any objections that come your way is really strong. That is a great key marketing point. That you could wrap a big idea around. The other one I came up with, as far as big ideas, was the prospector, or not prospector, the prosecutor method. And this is a way to get new sales, like prosecutors prosecute a court case. And this is based on Todd Brown's. He has a similar way of where he shows how to put a marketing campaign together based on this way a prosecutor goes through a court case. So I'm thinking about wrapping a big idea around that being the prosecutor method. How to get as many clients as you want, how to eliminate the no's using the prosecutor method. So that's another one that I've been considering, but the Elvis one, I'm already in play with that one. So that's going to be the first one. One of the things I'm going to do also is in the ACT program itself, I'm going to include Kartra training in there. And like I was talking about on the last call, anybody that actually buys Kartra, I'm going to set up another call to help you actually get it set up, help you, set up your actual marketing campaign. So that's going to be a cool thing. And what I might do, I may actually switch the apprentice call with the Kartra call. So let's see. Ted says the ACT program fits well as far as running ads. Okay. Not sure the context of that one, but yeah, if you want to come out and throw that one out, Ted. And anybody else too, if you guys want to unmute, tell me where you're at and where how it's going. So like I said earlier, oh, Ted says for e-commerce. Yeah, ACT program fits very well as far as running ads for e-commerce. E-commerce, basically anything that you're selling.
Well, I say that because e-commerce is so hot right now. There's a lot of people jumping on Shopify, and most of them are failing because they don't know how to run ads.
Yeah, they don't know how to run ads. They don't know anything about business either. There's so many programs getting pitched as get rich quick, but if you don't have the business knowledge, it's going to be really hard to run any kind of business if you don't understand how to deal with people and the psychology behind what people want, what makes them buy. You're going to have a little bit of trouble. So, and they don't talk about that. When they pitch their programs, that's not something they talk about. What they do is they show you the results of people that do have that base knowledge and they're running successful businesses. And yeah, they're killing it. And there's a ton of them doing it. There's a lot of people that are killing it online with e-commerce, but that doesn't mean that you're going to be able to do it. There's some intuitive leaps there that, as you guys probably know, it's a far stretch to be able to make those leaps. There's a lot of little things, that's where they call that thing a learning curve. And those people that you're seeing, you're not seeing the couple of years learning curve they had to go through to get there. What you're seeing is you're seeing the outcome, and then you're seeing if you purchase this product, you're going to get that outcome. And that simply is not true. Yeah, they're getting the outcome. Yes, they have the product. Those things are true, but those aren't really the basis for that success. There's a whole lot more to it. They talk about overnight successes that only took 30 years in the making. Yeah, the success part happens really quick, but it's that learning curve that can take a lifetime. And that's what with ACT, my goal with ACT is to really not eliminate the learning curve, because you cannot eliminate the learning curve. There's things in business that you'll do and you will just get lucky, and other people will do the same thing and they'll just get lucky. And it's important for you to be able to look at that and understand that that was just luck. Some people will come out with a product, they will integrate with a market seamlessly, and things just click and they work. And a lot of times that's luck. Generally that wasn't engineered, and sometimes they can make a ton of money, but what happens is that will run its course, and then they have to switch gears, and they don't know how to switch gears because they don't know what it really made it successful to begin with. Or they try something new and it falls flat because the luck wasn't lined up. And that's part of the ACT program, being able to look at a business opportunity and understand, is this real? Is it viable? And what are those things that make it so and make it such? And when you get that, that's a huge part of the learning curve. A lot of people go through their entire life failing through one business after another, and they never get that. They never get through the learning curve because they are not looking at the right things. They're just bumbling through, going from one failure to the next. Probably it's like the blind leading the blind. You know, they'll go buy a product, they'll follow a guru, they'll fall flat, and then they'll go to another guru and they'll buy his product and they'll follow him and they'll fall flat. And I know you guys have seen it over and over and over. There's a handful of people that do it, get lucky, but it's not repeatable. My goal with ACT is to show you how to get through the learning curve, understand all the fundamentals, and be able to repeat success. And like I said, it's one of those things that's it's not complicated, but it's hard to implement, especially the first time. But like anything else, you know, once you get it right and you've got the formula and the recipe, it's much easier to replicate it. You know, it's like, think about what would happen if you were trying to bake a cake and you didn't really know how to do it. How do you think your results would turn out? You know, you might try, you might figure, oh, you know, well, some eggs go in here, some flour goes in here, some cocoa, you know, and you throw all the stuff in that you think would make it great, and you forget an ingredient, you know? You forget the thing that makes it rise, and it goes flat, and it's mush, and it's horrible, and you throw it away. And you continue to do that, and then finally, you know, you figure it out. You get through the learning curve. Your chances of making the second cake after you've been through that learning curve and you know why you failed all those steps and you know what you did to make it right, think about your odds of getting it right the second time and how quickly you could do that. This is no different. Business is no different. It's a recipe. It's ingredients. It's knowing which ones to put together, you know, and how much of each ingredient, all that stuff. So it's, you know, it's like a formula. It's a recipe. It's repeatable. But it's getting through that learning curve of figuring those things out. And, you know, that's the hard part. that's the part that a lot of people are flailing with. And hopefully we'll get you all through to the other side. So I know it's deep water, but I will swim with you until you get to the shore. So, all right, guys, we'll come out. Go ahead and unmute and let me know where you're at, where I can help here. That's what this is all about. It's helping you get through.
I've roughed out kind of an idea for a sales landing page, and I'm hoping Carter will kind of help me put that all together. Okay. But you mentioned about using like third-party references.
Uh-huh.
And I've got a couple of like articles or snippets of an article, and I'm trying to figure out what's the best use of that, because I know you got to give reference to who they are. Do I have to put like the snippet of the article link in there, or how would I do that?
You could. There's a couple of ways to do that. And keep in mind, when you're doing that, when you're using third-party data, you're using it to back up a point. You know, it goes with the claim proof benefit statements.
Exactly.
And once you figure out, you know, what the claim is, then you look to find, you know, who can I get to verify this? It might be a customer testimonial might verify it. It might be a news article. And like when it's a news article, you can say as seen in, you know, or as stated in. If it's like, let's say I use this with a medical journal. I did this with the dentist. And I referenced I took actually several articles that kind of said the same thing from, I think there was 5 different articles, and 4 of the writers were making the same exact point. And what I did is I used the Crest commercial method for that. And I said, 4 out of 5 dental professionals from the American Dental Association say, and then I said the statement of basically what they were all saying. So I didn't quote it directly out of there, but the information came from 4 out of 5 of the professionals out of their organization. So I was pulling from their credibility. So you can do that a lot of different ways. When I did it for, like when I made the statement of, 96% of businesses will fail within a certain amount of time, I was quoting that out of Forbes magazine. And since Forbes is a pretty credible source of a magazine, I actually stated it, and I showed the article, I showed the author, I showed the actual snippet, and then I highlighted the piece where it actually said, 96% of businesses will fail within X amount of years. So there's a lot of different ways you can do that. There's no real right or wrong, but what I would do is I would keep it as short as possible. Like, don't allow them to read the whole article. You just want the snippet, basically.
Right, because basically what I was doing is my claim was not basically don't throw your money to the Google gods hoping for a decent return or ROI. And my kind of claim on there is Google sales reps are there to sell you Google services and not there to help you grow your business.
Okay.
And so my link was, according to Randy Malinovic, a B2C strategist, and he's off of business2community.com strategy. And he's basically saying there's a proven way to benefit from AdWords or any other pay-per-click platform, but it's not the one that Google sales reps are selling. So he's stating right there that it's not what they're selling.
Yeah.
So that's what I was trying to do.
Yeah, so you could reference that as, from a major magazine. You could reference the actual author. But yeah, same thing. You can do that, and the more you actually back it up, the more it really becomes true proof. Because again, if you just say it and you don't say where you heard it or whatever, it really is just hearsay. And the whole idea of the claim proof benefit statement is to take your claim, which your claim is you saying it. You saying it, that's just hearsay. That goes in one ear and out the other. But when you back it up, it turns the claim into a fact. And generally facts, people have trouble disputing facts, and they don't even like to dispute facts. So if you back it up with that, with that third-party verification from a credible source, now it all of a sudden becomes a fact. So now you've got it. You've got the claim and then the proof. And usually I'll add 2 proof points in. One is okay if you've got a really, really solid one and you can't find another one, then that's fine. But if you really want to lock it down, use 2 if possible. 2 proof.
Well, I could use a testimonial from one of our clients that said he hates it every time Google calls because they charge him more money. They redo it and it doesn't get him any better ROI, and he ends up paying more.
Yeah, see, that's a testimonial. That's a proof point from an actual user. So that's like, if I'm your prospect and I'm hearing that from someone just like me. So that means a lot. So that's
in that
that's
case, do I have to state it like a client says or a client had mentioned, or how would I?
Well, the more fact you can put to it, the more validity you'll have. So if you mention their name and possibly the company that they're from, if they're okay with that, some people are okay with that kind of stuff, some are not. But if they are, then I would just say, like Bob from Bob's Building, he's been a client of ours for a long time, and he just literally hates when Google calls, because he says every time they call, they up my ad spend and I get nothing better for the results.
Yeah, it's Dennis, so I don't know if he'll let me do it or not.
Okay.
But I've heard him actually complain and say that. So I'm like going,
The other thing you can do too, you can turn it into social proof by just making it a blanket statement. And you could say, you could give it a percentage, give it a percentage that makes it look real, and just say, 80% of our customers that are running their own pay-per-click campaigns, they basically have the same complaint. Now, 80%, that you could have 3. And, it doesn't mean you're not giving them a number of how many, you're just giving them a percentage. If you could do that, you could say 100%, you only have 1 customer. So, but it's the idea behind it. You're tying it into social proof of not just one, but more than one. Many people are saying this, and they're people that are just like me.
Right. I could do that.
Yeah, so that's really a good way if you can't get the the permission to actually use their name or company. You can do that. You can say of all of our clients that do their own pay-per-click campaigns, I would try and give it a percentage, but even if not, you could say almost every one of them, or the vast majority of them, say the same thing. They say every time the Google ad rep calls, they talk them into spending more, but they get either the same or less results, so it's counterproductive. And then you're using that statement to back up your claim of Google is not in your best interest. The Google reps are not giving you good advice. They're giving you advice that's to their benefit and not yours. That's your claim. So that's the claim, then you got the proof, and then you tie it to the benefit of the program of when you get this right, you do X, Y, Z, then you've described the benefit, you 3-dimensionalize it.
Right, and that's what I'm trying to do, is try to make my benefit of thing that you need the strategy, you need somebody on top of it that knows what they're doing, i.e. us.
Yeah. But when you 3-dimensionalize that, make sure that you state it in a way that it truly becomes 3-dimensional, and that's from the hear it, see it, and feel it. The hear it is you simply stating what the benefit is going to be. Like, you're going to spend less and you're going to get more conversion. That's simply the stating it. That's where they hear it. And then the see it, and you want to bring that into where they actually see the benefit. And that you basically want to, you can evoke that a lot with the word remember, but if they haven't had the experience, that's not going to work. So you can also evoke that with with imagine. Imagine looking at your bank statement and seeing it growing every month instead of just breaking even. Imagine seeing more profit every month at the end of your not looking at your analytics and seeing that there's more month than money.
Mm-hmm.
and then the feel it. So you got the hear it, see it, and then the feel it is, that's another one where imagine imagine is transporting them forward in time. So the feel it, you can say, imagine how it's going to feel when you don't have to worry about running out of money anymore. Imagine how it's going to feel when you've got enough money in your bank account that you can decide to go and take your family on vacation and not have to worry that things are going to crash and burn while you're away. You've got plenty, you've got a successful business. Imagine how that's going to feel. Imagine how it's going to feel when you come home and tell your spouse, hey, you can quit your job if you want. We are safe and stable, and we are going up, and we're never coming back. We're never going back to that place where we didn't have enough money to get by, and we all had to work and scrap to get through. That's painting a picture of feeling it. How's that going to feel? So that's really important when you do the claim proof benefit statement, that you 3-dimensionalize the benefit. So the formula is 1 claim, 2 proof points, 3 benefits, which is 1 benefit 3-dimensionalized. And that really drives it home. You know, if you have any objection and you treat the objection that way, or the belief, if they have a belief that's creating an objection, and you make the claim to dispel the belief, and then you reinstall, this basically reinstalls a new belief. It's a belief builder. That's why I call it the Franklin Belief Builder. So that's a really, really powerful way to do that.
Okay, I'll keep working on it. Thank you.
So Cheryl asks, what is your benefit? And I think I actually just painted your benefit out pretty well.
You did actually. Because basically the benefit is if you hire us and you have a team working for you with a strategy so that you can get a higher ROI on your pay-per-clicks and your other paid ads.
But keep in mind, that's a feature.
That's a feature, okay.
That's a feature. The features, remember the difference between features and benefits.
The outcome, what they want.
Yeah, the feature is what it is. The benefit is what it does.
Okay.
So the fact that they're going to get a higher ROI, that is more of a feature than a benefit. You could look at it as a benefit, but it's not a benefit that really ties into their desired outcome. You know, because it's kind of like SEO. You know, when I'm selling SEO, people don't wake up in the middle of the night thinking, I need to rank better. I don't, you know, they don't wake up thinking, I need a SEO program. What they're waking up thinking about is they don't have enough money to pay their bills. They need more customers. They need more revenue. They need more profit. Those are the things that they're thinking about. And the reason that they're thinking about them is because they're scared. They don't know if they've got enough money at the end of the month to make ends meet. So their goal, their desired outcome is to never have to worry about that again. So that's really their desired outcome, is to never have to worry again. They want to, and that's why we're in business. You know, we don't want to have to worry. You know, that's true security and stability. And that in itself is what drives, I believe it's the driving force behind most entrepreneurs. You know, they want freedom, but even more than that, they want that stability, and that, you know, that's where the freedom comes from. You know, the freedom comes from not having to answer to anybody. The freedom comes from not, you know, having their whole livelihood wrapped around a boss that at any given point in time can say, you know, we're done, your contract is over, you know, good luck, and off you go. You know, how would that feel after working for somebody for 20 years and just have them end your entire livelihood? That would be pretty messed up. And that happens every day to people. So as entrepreneurs, you know, that just isn't even a feasible option for me of a way to go through life, depending on one person for my livelihood. You know, that just doesn't cut it. And I think that's a huge driving factor. So the security to know that you are stable and you're not going to have to worry about anything. You know, you're not going to have to worry about paying your bills, because that worry is the same worry and the same concern of what happens if my boss comes in and lets me go today for whatever reason. It's not even my fault. It's like you're at the whim of the world and you have no control. Entrepreneurs typically are pretty big on control. You know, I don't necessarily mean to say we're all control freaks, but we probably are. We want control over our destiny. We want control over our life. We want control over our income. The problem is most entrepreneurs don't have that control yet, and they desperately want it. So their desired outcome is just that. You know, anybody that is looking to jump from the day job into their own business, that's their deal. That's what they want. They're either not making enough money at their current job, They know it's a dead end. They know it's got a cap and they're not going to get any further along. And the fact that at any given day they could be let go. That scares them. They're not happy with that. And why would they be? So, they're wanting to jump in, they're wanting the freedom. And, those straddlers, the ones we call straddlers that are working a day job and trying to get a business running, that's what their deal is. They're not happy. They want a better life. They just don't know how to get there. And a lot of times with them, a lot of them don't have any business knowledge. They don't have any business experience. So talk about a learning curve. If they jump, that's why they straddle. If they jump the fence and they go and they fail, then they're screwed. They really don't have anywhere to go. That's why they straddle. They're afraid to let go, and probably for good reason. It's self-preservation. Again, that's another reason behind the ACT program, to show them, to build the bridge to get them to success before they jump, or to have the confidence in jumping, knowing that that bridge is there to catch them and they're not just diving into a cavern. Because that's what happens a lot of times. I've seen a lot of people that, they have these, what they call them, delusions of grandeur, and they quit their day job and they let go of that stability and they just go for it. Sometimes people encourage them to do this, but they don't have the foundation. They don't have any sort of net. There's no safety net below to catch them if they fall. Some of them have other spouses that work and they might, struggle a little bit, but they're going to get by. But not all of them have that. So that's, when you really get into your avatar, that's the mode you want to get into. When you figure out what's their desired outcome, that's the kind of thought process that you want to go through. And you want to figure out, what's really important to them. And I think from what I just said, you're probably coming to the conclusion that security is very important. That significance, the security that they're going to keep and maintain their significance is absolutely huge. The fact that entrepreneurs typically are leaders, they like to support others. A lot of times they'll grow and they'll hire people and they'll have people that depend on them, and they come like the father figure and everyone looks up to them, and that they cherish that. So the idea of stabilizing that and expanding upon that is huge. The idea of losing that and becoming a failure and having them be looked down upon is crushing. That is their worst nightmare. So that's the kind of stuff, when you talk about the empathy grid, when you're creating your avatars, that's the kind of stuff you want to do. You want to get in that deep, get messy, get dirty, get down into the emotions, because that's the stuff when you get that and you're feeling that, you're going to write copy that is really effective. Get down into what they're feeling and have a clear understanding of where they want to go and why it's important to them. So hopefully, that didn't bore you, and I kind of went deep into that, but it's to show you the point of the thought process, what you need to be thinking about your avatar so you can relate to them. Now, you'll know more about what to expect, what they expect, what they want, what's going to move them, what's going to pique their curiosity. So when you bring out statements like, the XYZ has been the key to changing, Elvis from a failed musician into the king of rock and roll, that's in total alignment with what they want. They want to be the king of something. They want to be at the top of their game. So the idea that you've got a secret that Elvis knew that allowed him to get there, and it's the same secret that will allow a business owner to get there, that's intriguing. That's that's compelling. That's going to evoke the curiosity and grab the emotion to move them to action. So that's a big idea. When you get a big idea that will do that, that's a big idea. That's what you guys need to be thinking about. As far as when you're brainstorming, you're coming up with your big ideas, that's how deep they should go. And you're not ever going to get there by just trying to come up with that out of the clear blue sky. That is going to come from your analysis. That is going to come from your empathy grid. It's going to come from all the work that you did in the A. That's why the A is so important. Really getting in. And I know a lot of you guys got hung up on the mechanics of A. And really, the analysis is not about mechanics. The mechanics are just there as tools to help you gather information. But the analysis is really about digging in and finding out who this person is and what's important to them. So you can pull that, you can bring that forward, and you can create big ideas that would grab their attention and compel them, grab their curiosity, move them to action. It'll emotionally move these people. That's the whole A, and you can't get to C without that. If you start creating, you don't have that step done, you're going to fall flat on your face. You're going to spin your wheels, and you're probably not going to get very far. You might have something that converts on a base level, but you'll never kill it. You'll never kill it by creating without doing the analysis piece. And naturally, when it comes to traffic, if you're driving traffic that's converting on a mediocre basis, it's going to be pretty expensive. So your profit's going to be diminished. So how successful will you be? That's the bridge I'm talking about. That's the learning curve I'm talking about. You guys are going to be so far ahead of the learning curve. When you go through the ACT program, you actually go through and you get this stuff. You get the basic concept of it. Don't get caught up in the minutia of the mechanics of it, but get that understanding of really why you're doing it. The reason that you're doing it is so you know everything about that person. You know what they want. Okay, based on that, now I know how my product can help them. That's when you're going to write really good copy. That's when you get into creation and it all flows smooth as glass. That's where if you get into it, and let's say you're not a copywriter, you hate copy, you hate that whole thing, it's okay at that point, as long as you can convey all the analysis to a copywriter. You can actually hire a copywriter and they can write phenomenal copy for you. If you hire a copywriter without giving them that analysis, you're really depending on them to do it for you, and they're not going to do that. They're copywriters. They're not researchers. You've got to hire the right people to do the right thing, and you've got to give them the right tools to do the job correctly. So if you do that, hiring a copywriter is a great thing, but give them all the ammo that they need to win the battle for you. And you've got to do that based on your analysis. So hopefully that's my argument. I'm hoping that I'm convincing you that it's right, because it is based on everything I've ever seen throughout my entire business life. That's what it boils down to. The people that have won the game and gotten success beyond their wildest dreams, it's all come from that. They know how to communicate with that audience. They know who they are. They get the message right, and they drive the traffic to it. It really is that simple. Easy said, not so much easy done.
Hey, John.
Yeah, go ahead.
I bought the Thrive themes for WordPress.
Okay.
Do you know if I switch the platform that I used, if it'll mess up my whole website? The girl has an ad at the very top of my website that I'm not too thrilled about. It shows up all the time.
Okay.
And so if I switch from her, will that mess up my website, my theme?
It shouldn't. If you install a new theme, it's gonna change the framework of the site more than likely. It's gonna change the theme of it. So yeah, it will change the look. And if the old look had certain things, certain widgets or whatever have you that are plugged in, like those banners and whatever, they might disappear.
Okay.
So if that's what you're looking for, then that might solve your problem.
Okay. And then did you make a decision on the mastermind? Are you going to Zoom, or was there interest?
You know, there was very little interest in, there was only a couple of you that actually got back to me, and I think you might all be on here today.
Okay.
So
Well, maybe a one-on-one meeting with you would,
so yeah, I'm up for whatever you guys want to do. Whatever you guys need is perfectly fine with me. If we want to do a Zoom, and the one thing about doing the group is getting the feedback from the others. That's really good. So that's helpful for sure.
Yeah.
But so anyway, I'm not sure where to go with it. Gwen likes Zoom. I know Ted likes Zoom because he's in Hawaii.
Well, maybe if we share our screen and kind of discuss, I'm guilty of just, I'm kind of stagnated right now because of multiple issues, but nobody's my own fault. But, maybe if we set a date and we say, okay, plan to share your screen and show where you're at and where you're stumped, and everybody come up with 5 issues that we can help each other with, maybe something like that will just spur us to be more active with the mastermind. I don't know. I'm thinking out loud.
Sure. Yeah. No, I'm totally open to that. In fact, we can pick a date right now if you want.
Mary Sue, you have a comment?
I was just going to say, I looked and I couldn't find a flight. So I guess we're getting into the time of the year where everybody is flying. And if I want to pay, a couple of $1,000s to fly down 600 miles or something, then I'm good to go. But,
that doesn't sound very feasible.
It really is not something that I feel like I can do. My issues right now, so I'm not quite sure where Cheryl's coming from. I think we need to be a little bit more definitive so that we can all kind of fit ourselves into what we're looking for. Honestly, right now where I am is I'm thinking about redoing the website, and my question is, how do I go about backlinks, and how do I structure what it is? So I know that I need content to get out there. So I need a plan. So I don't know I don't know where Cheryl is on that. I know that she's got, things that would bring people in. So, maybe she needs the same kind of thing. But the question for me is, how do we take ACT and turn it into a physical thing that says all of these people that we love, want to communicate with, find us out there through the website, through how we structure the website.
Okay, well that's more of a traffic thing, and specifically that's more of an SEO type thing.
But we can't do SEO without we can't do proper
SEO. That's
okay.
right.
Correct?
Yeah, that is absolutely correct. Because knowing what phrases your people are looking for, knowing what's important to them, that stuff is truly the backbone of the SEO. So you're right. You're absolutely right in that aspect. But and as far as structuring the site, like in your case, if you were to take your site and you were to recategorize it based on issues, Like if you were to recategorize it where people saw, oh, that's me, and they could self-segment and get them into the right section of your site that had all the products that would help their situation, even without stating it, because I know you can't really say too much about what your stuff really does, but I think the people that are on there, they probably already know that, and they already know, you know, if they see that problem of, you know, let's say it's a thyroid problem, and then when they click on the thyroid problems, they go into a section of the site that has products that deal with that, and you could even segment it again of high thyroid and low thyroid, and separate the products out. These are the products that are typically purchased by people that are suffering with high thyroid or low thyroid. I think as far as like creating your site based around that, I think that would be a very successful formula for you to do.
So, but if I want to use content, okay, so articles, then it seems to, and I've got the ability to do, you know, press releases, and I want to do all kinds of different things that just kind of put our name out there with a piece of content. And I can see just from the little that I know about what Cheryl does, she could certainly be doing the same thing, just write about what it is.
Absolutely.
And then we create backlinks and structure on the website. But I just need a visual plan that says this is the goal. I need to fill in the blank.
Yeah.
And I don't know how.
Well, one of the things that you want to do when you're planning a link building campaign, and that's a little different than the on-site. See, when you're talking about SEO and you're talking about organic traffic, there's two main sectors. If we want to split it right down the middle, you have on-page optimization, which that at this point is all about conversion. That's about figuring out what the best user experience for your clients are, and what the titles and the descriptions are going to be that are really compelling to get them to click through. That's going to be your on-page SEO. Your off-page SEO is your link building strategy, and basically that's putting your content out in the world, getting it to link back to you. It's getting other people to talk about you, getting them to link back to you. So from a strategic point, the best links that you're ever going to get is links from websites that have your ideal customer on it. So if there's sites out in the world that you can identify that maybe there's a forum out there for people that talk about thyroid issues, and you can post in there. A lot of times you'll have to post a lot of content before you can throw a link in, or they'll think you're spamming. But getting a link back from that platform where people actually see it and value it and click through and come through and give you a user experience, that's the best SEO link building that you'll ever find. Another thing that you can do is you can find other sites that have content about your topic, and you can reach out to those webmasters and say, hey, I have a really great article I wrote. I wonder if you want to post it on your site for your users. It will be very beneficial because it solves this and this and this, and that's what your people are interested in. All I ask for is that you leave my link as a resource back, you know, as a link back to my site to get more information. And that's called an outreach linking program, reaching out to other webmasters, offering them really good content based on what their users need, what they want. And the other one that I really like is doing press releases. You know, create a really newsworthy article that positions you as an authority and gives valuable information, and then a link back to your site. And I use the PR reach guys to do the press release distribution, because what they'll do is they'll take your press release and they'll treat it as a script, and they turn it into a video also. So they send it out as a video press release, and it comes out looking like you're in the news. You know, it looks newsworthy. So it's a really, really cool way to do that. And then that also gets you the ability to put on your site as seen on ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, all the news stations. So again, that's that credibility thing. You know, getting that credibility in one sweep like that from one press release is pretty awesome.
So it sounds like an easy way to start. And I guess I realize this. So I'm just beginning to learn Facebook, and I have to say I hate it. However, I decided I really need to do this thing. And we do have followers on Facebook, so not a lot, but close to 3,000. And we had somebody, I don't even know if it was us, that published an article that just everybody loved. And I thought, I didn't even know that was there. What are they doing? Right? But it seemed to me like publish an article just in our Facebook feed might be a good place to at least test things. I have no idea how far it would go. But
one thing when you do that, whenever you're using social media, and even on other websites that allow it, you want to make sure that you put the share buttons on, and you want to promote people to share it.
Yes, you said that to me before, where we had put a like button on there, and it's like, well, that was stupid. So just goes to show you how much I know about the stuff. You know, people that have done the work for us in the past didn't know what they were doing and didn't think about it. And yes. So that was, and I have to say, I think both Gwen and Cheryl would benefit from the same kind.
Yeah, you cut out a little bit there, but yeah, it's great to
kind of thing. You know, we want to figure out from that road that identifies, right?
Yeah. But yeah, it's great to get the likes. I mean, it's always great to get likes, but likes are not near as powerful as a share.
Yeah.
Because obviously, if they share you, they like it, and they're sharing it not only to your group, not only your group sees that it got shared, but all of their people in their circle of friends gets to see it and see the fact that they shared it.
Okay, this is a little frustrating for me because I feel like I need to be able to envision, you know, what it is that I'm trying to do with this stuff. And I need a fill in the blanks thing that just says, you know, go write a Bloomin' article and put it here, you know, and I can do that. But trying to envision all this back office stuff for me is, I've just got so much to do.
Yeah, that's why, you know, most of the people that I know that are running businesses, they typically outsource the SEO because it's not something that you think about. You know, it's not really a normal, natural process, you know, to do that, and it's tedious and it's kind of a pain in the butt. And
but at what point do you outsource it? Do you do it before you build the website, or do you after you build the website, or during?
Well, you've got to have a site up to optimize. So optimization comes in after the site, and hopefully the site comes in after your analysis, because a site, when you build a site, it's part of creation. You know, or when you revamp a site, it should be based on your creation, or on your analysis rather.
Shouldn't the front of the site and the structure match what you're doing on the SEO so that you don't have to go back and change things?
Yeah, but like I said, if you match that to your analysis, it will fall in pretty nicely. Like if you figure out what your users want, you know, or what your viewers want and what's important to them, and you structure the site around that, which you should be doing. You know, when you're in creation, you're creating based on that analysis. So if you do it that way, you'll almost always come out right for SEO. I mean, almost always. And then at that point, your on-page SEO should be done correctly, just by virtue of that creation process. And then at that point, most people, they would outsource the off-page SEO, which is all the link building, all of that stuff, writing. Some people don't like to write. I think you probably do like to write. So you could write articles and hand them off to an SEO team and get them to place the articles for you, do the outreach program for you. So Cheryl's asking
what's the average cost of that. But so one of the things that I really want to do as soon as we can, and I found a website that is in the EU that it's a backlinks place, right? Supposedly they can help you optimize your backlinks. Somebody else would clearly have to do that, not me, because I still don't understand enough. However, I being in the EU, I really need to pick up distributors there. So I want to focus on what do I need to do to create visibility for distributors. So not for healthcare practitioners, I don't want to do retail. Somebody else can do the retail, but I want to do to healthcare practitioners and companies that sell products to practitioners, right?
Okay. So the best way to do that is to have a section of your site that's specifically for that wholesale part of your business. Now, a lot of people don't want the public to know about that, so they would hide that, and they would make that non-accessible to the public. And it's really easy to do that. You can take a section of your site and put it behind that, where you have to have a username and a password to access it. And then basically you can do all your promotions out to your EU people as an opt-in. Get them to opt in to find out, how you can service them on a wholesale level. This is not available to the public, so you do need to sign up for the program and go through a vetting process. And when they opt in, you could ask them certain questions that basically would qualify them to be able to access the program. And it's kind of like
I already have that, although I have to say I'm beginning to think maybe we'd be better off with a website just for wholesale and practitioners, and then maybe a link that just because I want to do things like offer better, more complete information for practitioners, and I would like to honestly refer customers that want more hand-holding to a practitioner.
Yeah, I still would prefer, for me, I would prefer to see that be on the same domain.
Okay.
For a couple of reasons.
Okay.
The biggest reason being, if you split the sites and you split the traffic, now you've got two sites to optimize, and you've split the traffic, because one of the big key factors is how much traffic does the site have. And when you split that, you're defeating the purpose of gaining traffic to show Google you're a credible source and people like your information.
There you go. So
I would really prefer to see you put it all on the same domain if you can.
Okay.
Now, you can have a totally separate section. You can have a completely separate website that operates on the same domain that's not accessible from the homepage.
Okay.
You can just create a directory. Like if you look at my membership site, it's on the Internet Dominator's domain, but it's not accessible from the homepage. You have to have the links to log into it.
Gotcha.
And what it does, it shows Google, all the people that are going in and out of that membership site. A lot of them are on there watching videos for hours and hours. So it really gives me some great user stats.
Okay.
So I would, if at all possible, you want to keep as much of the traffic on your main domain as you can.
Okay. Well, there goes that idea. So I'll do it that way. That makes a lot of sense to me.
Now,
So,
if you want to get a different domain, like if you're trying to do this, like people do this with radio advertising, because they don't want to send you to domain.com / something something something.
yeah.
What they want to do is they want to send you to getwell.com. So they'll buy a domain for advertising purposes, and then they forward it to that page in your website.
Okay.
And a lot of the marketers will do this. I've done that myself. I've got a bunch of different domains, and I've got them all forwarding to different places within my site. Like
Okay.
I think I've got dominatorradio.com, and it forwards to the Dominator Radio page in my site. So that's that's a very viable option if you wanted to promote it under a different domain, but still drive the traffic to your main domain so Google sees it there. And actually, I was thinking about you, Mary Sue, as I've been going through this Kartra thing, and I know you've already got your website, you've got that set up, and your commerce store is probably a difficult one to convert out of that, because you've got it, it's running, and it's working for you, but it's not working for your marketing. So if you got the Kartra, I think she fell off there, but I'm going to say this anyway so she can watch the recording. If she gets Kartra and creates a section of the site and puts marketing funnels in there built by Kartra that promote and sell the stuff in her normal shopping cart, I think that would be an absolute winner. And that's pretty much what I plan on doing, with my own stuff as well, is doing it that way. So, all right, guys. Well, that's about it for today. Unless you got any other last minute questions here before we wrap up.
I don't think we came to a conclusion if we wanted to meet and do a Zoom, but I think that, I know it might be frustrating that we come together as Zoom and, okay, who's got something? Well, I'm going to try to make a commitment to next week having like something visually that I need help with where I'm stuck, rather than, generic questions. I'm going to try to make it more specific to what's happening with the ACT part of it all. Because I think I'm just stuck on traffic. I think I'm going to go watch the traffic videos again, and I think that's where I'm stuck right now.
Okay, well, why don't we just, for now, why don't we just use this call as that forum?
Yeah, okay.
Just hop on here and take it away.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right.
Thanks, John.
All right, we will see you next week.
Thank you.
Okay, well, have a great week, and we'll see you then.